So I said, I'll be happy to hear the rest of the story if I can tell you a story first. And this is the story that he told. In one of the great and largest churches in Christendom, a man was asked to preach a sermon. The man, known as a loudmouth, was sometimes sincere but mostly in trouble. And it was known among his associates that under emotional pressure, on one occasion, he had uttered some curse words. In fact, on one occasion, he had been heard taking the Lord's name in vain. And he had led some believers astray from Christ's teaching into a wrong doctrine. And the preacher said, I asked the deacons if they thought it proper that this kind of a man should have been asked to preach the sermon in that church. And they looked at one another and could not believe that I would even ask them such a question. Altogether, they said, no, sir, a man like that is not fit to be preaching. Gentlemen, I said, the man I have just described is the Apostle Peter, who preached the first sermon in the Jerusalem church on the day of Pentecost. Several weeks before that occasion, he denied the Lord. He cursed using profanity. He led the disciples back to fishing when they'd been told to go and preach. And God set him aside to preach the inaugural sermon for the Christian church. I sure am glad God doesn't treat me the way some folks do. Aren't you? Aren't you glad that God deals with us out of a heart of mercy and love? Am I saying that that means we can just go and do whatever we want to do and God winks at it? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is that God is a God of mercy and love and grace. And as I've said to you folks often, He's the God of the second chance, isn't He? He's the God who comes and takes the broken pieces of our lives and makes something beautiful out of the relics. God is merciful. Blessed are they who are merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.